USA!
Yes!
I need new friends.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I believe why I've gathered, or you know why I've gathered you all here today. How do we kill Superman? No.
Stop buying his comic book.
Am I officiating? Why am I sitting in the middle?
I don't know.
I'm tired of sitting next to him.
They're just Fred. You're the filling.
So what is this?
Is
this
Yeah, I'm sorry. We can do this.
The audience is so close that like I'm just like up here whispering like I don't know what I'm doing. Like
Don't tell them that.
I don't know what I'm doing, guys. All right, so.
And that's the comics basics right there. Don't know what you're doing.
I want to draw something one day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dodecacon panel. What is this? 5 of the day? 6? 3? 3. We are doing basic comic creation basics. Over here to my right is Mr. Mick Byers. You want to say hi, Mick? Hi. And over to my left-hand side is the man, the myth, the legend, Scott Zioko, a.k.a. the only one here that really prints his own comics. So.
Hello.
And I am Andrew Pellish, of course. I see a lot of familiar faces out there. Anyways, today we're just going to give you kind of an overview of how to start creating your own comic books. And, Rowan, do you have a question? Oh, do you have to go to the bathroom? That's how it works in kindergarten, man. Yes, Rowan. Do you have a question? Okay. Are you bidding on something? So, comic creation basics. Essentially, anyone can make a comic book. It's that easy. You sit down with a pen, a piece of paper, and you divide it up into squares, and you can make comics about anything. Anything that your heart desires. Scott does a lot of different stuff with what I'm just gonna hog the microphone the entire time.
You know, like the nice thing about comics, and the thing I really enjoy about it is you don't have to limit yourself by a specific genre. There's so many different types of comics. There's war comics, there's romance comics. I mean, you can do it basically on any subject. And like Andrew said, all you need is really a pencil, a paper, and your own imagination. So. And lots of love. You have to really, and I think that's like a key thing, like when you're talking about comic book basics, is you have to want to do comics, because it's fun to draw, but it's not always fun to make comics, because you're going to have to put in a lot of hours, you got to put in a lot of time, especially if it's not your day job. I mean, there's going to be times where you're up till 2 or 3 in the morning drawing comics, and that's kind of the test, is to see if you really want to do this. Is if you can stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning drawing a comic and not get sick of it after like a few weeks, then you're good to go. But but that's really the key thing, is like anyone can talk about making comics, anyone can like say, oh yeah, I have this great idea for comics, but at the end of the day, you have to actually want to do comics, and I think that's the main thing we want people to take out of this.
Because I hate nothing more than having to draw my comic. That is the part I absolutely cannot stand. I don't mind writing it, I don't mind laying it out, but when it comes down to that point where you have to create a finished picture that tells a story, I can't do it. My eyes glaze over after about 5 minutes of work, and I'm done. I need to take like a half-hour, 45-minute break before I can do anything else. And it's like the love of getting it done, I think, is the most important part. Because it's never going to happen. You'll come up, I mean, you may start 1,000 projects, but you're never going to finish one of them if you don't genuinely want to see it done, see it finished, see it complete.
Alright, that's all I was saying. No.
That's cool. And like, and talking about too, like, I think a lot of people want to know, how do you get started? Like, what's the best way to get started? Like, I think when you're getting started, the best thing to do is take that idea you had for a 600, 700 page graphic novel and put it to the side. Because the bigger and the more ambitious you get, like just starting out, like especially when you've never done a comic before, the less likely you are probably finishing that 600, 700, unless you do, and if you do, that's awesome, you know, kudos to you. But I think the best way to get started is to take smaller ideas and smaller stories and start with there. If you got an idea for like a 4-page or 10-page comic, start there. Like, you know, start small. You know, break up that, you know, think about that 600-page story and go, okay, is there a smaller story I want to do? And start from there, because, you know, it's so easy to get frustrated, especially when you're putting in all this hours into something that you're not necessarily know is going to go anywhere. So I say, like, my suggestion is when you're starting on a comic and you want to, like, start just making comics, you know, start a little bit smaller. Start with the smaller stories. You know, start with something that you know you can easily start with an obtainable goal. I think is my best suggestion. You know, just, you know, little obtainable goals. And once you get that 4-page comic done, maybe you'll gain a bit more confidence and be like, okay, I can do a 6-page comic or a 10-page comic. Build yourself up to like a bigger project. But like my first suggestion, if you're getting started, if you want to do comics, my first suggestion is to start small. Like, just be realistic with your expectations.
And exactly what Scott said. I mean, you can't, I mean, everybody thinks to themselves, you know, obviously you guys are at a comic book convention, you guys are comic book fans, most of you, and those of you who aren't, you know who you are. Anyways, no, the thing is, you know, everybody here are people who like comic books, and you know, who hasn't thought to themselves, you know, they're at rock bottom, or you know, wherever your local comic book shop is, you know, you're like, I could do this, man, you know, I got this idea for a superhero, and you know, you fly around, shoot lasers out of his eyes, it's awesome. Well, and that's fantastic, and you have to have the passion for comic books to create comic books. And you know, getting started with comic books is yes, Rowan. Can I make comic books with what? Princesses. Of course you can make. There are tons of comic books about princesses. Fables, right off the top of my head. Amethyst. Wonder Woman is a princess. Any sort of Disney comics. So, I mean, you can make comics about whatever you want. It doesn't just have to be flights and tights. There's, you know, horror comics, science fiction, you know, people in chainmail hitting each other in the face, that sort of business. It's great. Yes, winter. Yes, and puppies. Definitely puppies. Yes. So, would you please save the rest of your questions for the end of the question and answer period, Rowan? Okay. So anyways, but it's something else that's very important, and it's not just making comic books, you know, sitting down and drawing the panels. One of the most rewarding things you can possibly do is investing the time to take your characters that you create for your comic book and giving them detailed backstories. Giving them, you don't have to draw comics to make comic book characters. You can make superheroes or characters. You don't have to be good at drawing to make your own superheroes or whatever. Just take the time to sit down and think about, well, what do I want this character, and the story will come organically from that. So, just, you know, spend some time with your characters, get inside their head, think about how they would think about things, and, you know, you might learn something about yourself in the process of it, so I think Mick's finishing up. We're actually making a comic book as we're talking about making comic books. It's a little meta up here, but it's pretty awesome.
Are we doing a live comic jam?
We are doing a live comic jam, which if any of you are interested in making comic books, this is a great place to plug it. Mick, myself, kind of, and Scott, I don't go to meetings, are all part of a group called Midmo Coco, the Mid-Missouri Comics Collective. We're a group of individuals who basically get together, is it the first Sunday of every month that I don't go? First Sunday of every month, and you can find out where that'll be located. Oh.
No.
Okay. So, you're obviously here to be the handsome one of the group. Anyways, but midmococo.com and find out where we're meeting. We welcome everybody. Just if you want to sit around and talk comics, because that's essentially what we do. But we also do sketch jams, like we're doing right here. What was it?
So you guys are meeting here tomorrow?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. This is in lieu of this. So I actually attended one.
So you'll actually go to one, yeah?
Yeah, I'll actually go to one this time.